I was recently on a podcast with former sponsor, good friend of mine, John Ostos, and as with the first time I was on his podcast, as well as the second, it came up the topic of me taking on coaching as a full time job, and we talked about my reservations as to why I haven't made that leap yet, and I kind of had a clear thought the other day as to why this troubles me so much. You know, taking the leap, becoming a full time coach, and have that be my sole income. It all stems from how I pursue the coach lifter relationship. As a lifter with a coach, I always knew that at the end of the day, it was on me to perform. It was on me to do what I was supposed to do. It was on me to get the recovery, the mobility, the flexibility, the diet, like all of that stuff. At the end of the day, I knew it was on me. That's how I looked at it. I was coached by Shane Sweat for a couple of years and had some of the best, or not some of, I had the best progress that I've ever had and took me to new levels. And even though he brought to me an elevated level of knowledge that I had not seen before, I didn't just count on the fact that he's the coach, he's responsible. If I don't get any better, it's his fault. Uh, I knew that anything that needed to be done, any changes or advancements that were going to come my way, were up to me 100% at the end of the day. Now, flipping that as a coach, for whatever reason, I don't know why. I'm sure it's some deep seated psychological thing, some control issue or insecurity issue, one of those things. Uh, as a coach, I feel like the responsibility is 100% on my shoulders. If a lifter does not get stronger in a training cycle, if a lifter has a mild injury in a training cycle, or they go to a meet and it didn't go well, I put 100% of that burden and blame on myself, and I take it very personal. What I don't think about is I can't control what a person does with their diet, with their sleep, their recovery, if they're actually doing the workout when they're there, if they do the whole workout and there's no intent to the workout, if they're talking the whole time and if they're not engaged, um, what supplements they take, what drugs they take. You know, if they go to a powerlifting meet and they show up, at 9 o'clock the night before the meet and get shit sleep and have just a horrible day the next day. All of those things I can't control. As I said in the podcast, I could write the most amazing program, the most profound setup, and if the person does not follow it to a T, if they do not give me feedback, okay, this isn't working, so I have the ability to modify it, which is a huge part of it. You should be able to do more than just give them something on paper. There should be lots of feedback, and you should be able to change it on the spot if necessary. You shouldn't be so rigid and closed-minded to where, okay, this is what I gave you, this is what you're going to do. Um, I can't control I can't control a lot of those things, and for whatever reason, one of the biggest fears that I have, or maybe not fears, maybe insecurities or holdups, is that I don't feel confident enough in my approach, my intelligence, my education to combat those things that the lifter may or may not do. I feel like I should be able to write a program that is so amazing that no matter how much they slack off, how much they fuck up, how much a person doesn't care about their training, they just put a D effort into it and expect to get an A on their test. Like, I feel this burden of responsibility that whatever I give them has to trump those things that they might do. Not all people do that. Um, you're probably going to have to weed through, 10 lifters to find the one that takes the responsibility themselves. But it's that it's that thought that is always in my head when I think about taking the plunge to taking coaching on full time, that I have to come up with something that's so amazing that it trumps all of the things that they on their end possibly might not do to make their prep or their training subpar or set themselves up for injury. They don't take care of their rehab. They don't tell me if something hurts. Just things like that that keeps me out of the loop. It's a control thing. I don't know, it's control or insecurity or some psychological thing that just is just like a boundary that I've kind of just now within the last month or so, I've kind of pinpointed it. Like, okay, like so this is what's I'm getting hung up on, and I don't know if I just have to have a conversation with people to whom I respect in the community that are very good coaches that may have a high turnover rate, but just because a coach has a high turnover rate, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a shitty coach. It just might mean that they figured out what you're supposed to do to get better. And generally, that thing that you have to do to get better is not easy. It's time consuming, it's involved, and it's something that you have to spend time on. And a lot of people aren't willing to do that. So, I just wanted to put it down. I don't even know if I'm going to put this up on my actual YouTube. I might put it on my private, but I just wanted to like put it down so I have something to reference to where, okay, I've identified, what my holdup is and what do I need to do. What do I need to do to remedy that and get the ball rolling? So that would be probably my most major hang up. I very much enjoy I very, very much enjoy writing programs for people that do the work that they're supposed to do, give me the feedback that helps me fix things that need to be fixed, get the rehab, the diet, all these things that they should be doing without me telling them. I shouldn't have to tell, any coach shouldn't have to tell a lifter necessarily what to do every minute of their day. There should be some common sense. There should be a lot of willpower and drive and perseverance on the lifter's part to where, what can I be doing beyond this that'll help me get better? And those are the people who, the people who that I train that have the best success are the ones that go above and beyond what I send them to advance themselves, to make themselves better physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally. So yeah, that probably would be my one major hang-up that I'm looking at. I'm definitely getting to a point in my life where my position is having an emotional effect on me day to day. I'm getting to that point where I don't like where I'm at in life, but I know it's my fault. I need to either try harder at what I'm doing, my current career, to advance it because I've outgrown my position at work a long time ago. And now that powerlifting as a lifter for me may not be a reality. I don't know. We'll see. The next year or two will be very telling. But if the situation is to where it's not going to be a reality for me, then I need to focus on a career either outside the strength world or a career inside the strength world. And that is going to come with some sacrifice and some faith. And it's getting to the point where I feel like, the back is against the wall, pushing me closer to the cliff, and it's time to jump.